LGBTQ as a social construct and its role in society. 1. LGBTQ as a construct. The LGBTQ identity is a social construct that has evolved in response to changing cultural norms and historical contexts. This construct arises from the negotiation between marginalized groups, in this case, those who do not fit within heterosexual norms, and the dominant societal structures that dictate what is acceptable. As these structures evolve, the boundaries of gender identity and sexual preference shift, with LGBTQ rights being an expression of this ongoing process. From the realist lens, this identity is not inherently valid but rather a negotiated category within the system. Its legitimacy depends on how well it fits within the larger framework of social order. The recognition of LGBTQ rights is not a universal truth but a social compromise made within the system that maintains its overall stability. 2. LGBTQ and social control. LGBTQ rights are part of the broader social dynamics that shape how individuals fit into the larger system. As these rights are fought for and won, they are commodified and mainstreamed to serve the system's goals of cohesion and stability. The LGBTQ movement, like any other, exists within the boundaries set by the prevailing power structures. If its recognition disrupts the economic, political, or social foundations too much, it risks being suppressed or modified to align with the system's needs. As these identities become more accepted, they are integrated into the broader social framework, and their meaning is often diluted or redefined to ensure they don't fundamentally challenge the status quo. This dynamic illustrates how agency is not inherent, but rather, it is granted by a system that determines which identities are legitimate based on their ability to function within the system. 3. LGBTQ rights and social structure. In this context, LGBTQ rights are not inherent to human dignity but are social constructs that are negotiated within the system. The right to identify and live as one chooses is a privilege that exists as long as it does not undermine the core societal constructs. The recognition of LGBTQ identities by society is based on their ability to integrate without significantly disrupting the larger norms around heterosexual relationships, gender roles, and the traditional family structure. The push for LGBTQ rights can be seen as a challenge to heteronormative ideals, but its acceptance is contingent on society's ability to integrate these challenges into its existing structures without creating instability. Therefore, the rights that LGBTQ individuals gain are not given freely or universally, but rather are bestowed by a society that decides how much change it can accommodate before those changes undermine its foundational systems. 4. LGBTQ as a challenge to norms. The LGBTQ movement, in its pursuit of recognition and rights, challenges the dominant norms of heterosexuality and traditional gender roles. However, the extent to which these challenges are allowed to exist is determined by the society's readiness to adapt. If the movement threatens the core functions of society, economic, political, or cultural, it risks being marginalized or redefined to fit within more acceptable parameters. The agency of the LGBTQ community is granted based on the system's comfort with the changes they propose. Conclusion. LGBTQ rights and identities, when viewed through the lens of social realism, are best understood as part of the ongoing negotiation between individual agency and societal structure. These identities are not inherent but constructed within a society that defines which identities are legitimate based on their fit within established norms. As society shifts, the recognition of new identities, like those of the LGBTQ community, becomes part of the larger social framework, granted to the extent that it does not disrupt the social order. This process shows that rights are not absolute or universal, but rather contingent on how well they integrate into the existing power structures. LGBTQ rights, like any rights, are subject to the social framework's definitions and the degree to which they align with the prevailing ideology. The agency of individuals within the LGBTQ community is shaped by the same forces that shape all human identity: negotiation with societal norms and the need to fit within the larger system that dictates what is acceptable and what is not.